unveiling long-awaited new details around its large language model, Gemini, this morning.
It did that yesterday, and there was a pretty muted reaction, but now we're seeing a substantial move higher in these shares.
Google just created the most powerful AI ever built with Gemini. Gemini will change how we interact with computers in a more advanced way than Chat GPT-4. But not everyone is ready to jump on the hype train just yet, so we have a lot to unpack. Just how is Google's Gemini going to change our lives? How is it better than GPT-4? What about the criticisms from its misleading demo video? And what does the future hold? Let's get into all of it. What is Google's Gemini AI? Gemini is a massive multimodal language model developed by Google DeepMind. It merges DeepMind's AlphaGo, which is an AI model best known for defeating a human Go champion, together with advanced natural language processing. Gemini is designed to process data in different forms: text, code, images, and audio, unlike most AI models, which focus solely on text. The aim is to master human-style conversations, language, and content, drive data and analytics, and provide a wide range of solutions across different industries. In other words, Gemini is trained on billions of images, commands, and sentences from the internet so that it can solve everyday problems. But how did we even get here? You see, Google was left chasing shadows last year when OpenAI released ChatGPT, which quickly gained over 100 million users. Since then, it's literally been an AI war between OpenAI, Google, and other big players in the industry. Microsoft, Google's arch-rival, quickly struck a deal with OpenAI, gaining access to its tech and putting it into its products. Google then responded with its own chatbot called Bard, and was smart enough to label it an experimental tool, unlike Microsoft's chatbot Bing. OpenAI then came back with better AI software with GPT-4, which has been the benchmark ever since. As you would expect, the competition has now supercharged the disruptive field, and the result is another big response. However, it has taken a year for Google to respond. Luckily, they have done so in style, maybe. Google's aim is to rise to the top of the pile with Gemini, but we couldn't just take their word for it. So we decided to find out the real truth behind Gemini since its launch on December 6th, 2023. Here's what we found. Gemini Models. Due to the increasing pressure to monetize AI, Gemini comes with 3 different models for various tasks and devices. Google's plan is to license Gemini to customers through Google Cloud and also supercharge other Google products like Bard Chatbot and Search Generative Experience for a holistic experience. So here are the 3 models of Google's Gemini. Gemini Ultra, the largest and most capable model, designed for highly complex and high-accuracy tasks, suitable for intricate dataset. Gemini Pro, aimed at scalability, balances performance with efficiency, suitable for diverse applications and common use cases. Gemini Nano, the most streamlined version, optimized for efficiency with limited resources for on-device tasks, suitable for local processing. So, with its 3 models, Gemini's transformer-based architecture enables efficient processing and handling of long-range dependencies in data. Starting December 13th, developers and enterprise customers will be able to access Gemini Pro via the Gemini API in Google AI Studio or Google Cloud Vertex AI. Meanwhile, Android developers will also be able to use Gemini Nano. Of course, use cases will include enhancement of customer service engagement via chatbots, product recommendations, identifying trends for advertising, more help with content creation, meeting summaries, and code generation. However, the Ultra model won't be released until next year because Google wants to carry out more advanced safety testing to make sure it aligns with our human values. With all of these, we can expect Gemini to power most of Google's products and services in the near future. But first, Gemini will have to really prove that it is the real deal and is better than ChatGPT-4. So let's do a little comparison and see how Gemini stacks up against GPT-4. But first, if you like what you're watching, take a second to like the video because it helps us with the algorithm. Gemini versus GPT-4. We'll keep things simple and clear. Google claims that Gemini outperforms ChatGPT-4, but let's find out for ourselves. Gemini's strengths include text comprehension across 50 different subjects, computer code generation, error checking and improvement suggestions, image recognition and description, video action recognition and description, audio transcription and intent understanding. Google says that Gemini will be able to tackle complex tasks, requiring the integration and analysis of information from various sources simultaneously. So let's say you have some research to do. Gemini will be able to analyze your research papers, translate its text into another language if needed, summarize key findings, and even generate a presentation with the right images and audio narration. Early benchmarking has shown that Google Gemini outperforms other AI models across nearly all tests, including reasoning, math, code generation, and multimodal inputs. Another big difference between Gemini and other AI models like ChatGPT is the currently limited level of access developers have to the technology. GPT-4 currently reserves for its hand-picked business partners alone, but right off the bat, Gemini aims to break that trend with its openness and seeks to be highly efficient with tools and API integrations. What this essentially means is that Google is putting lightweight and powerful versions of Gemini out there for developers to customize and create their own AI apps and APIs. Programmers will be able to use Gemini to automate and enhance cloud operations, drive sales, and incorporate virtual assistants inside wearable Google Tech smartphones and apps. Let's be honest, that kinda sounds crazy, but there are some limitations worth knowing. Gemini's effectiveness might still be limited outside its area of specialization, thereby potentially offering less assistance with general programming queries that it's not tailored for. Another limitation is the fact that we might still come across falsely made up or incorrect answers, because despite the improved context awareness and more accurate and nuanced outputs, there will always be the fear factor of potentially wrong answers. So, what makes it better than GPT-4? I'll tell y'all. GPT-4 is known for its versatility and can assist with a wide range of programming frameworks. We already know that it can generate code snippets, debug, and even provide solutions to common programming problems across various technologies. But here's where Gemini beats it. While being highly versatile, GPT-4 lacks depth of understanding in specific programming niches when compared to a specialized model like Gemini. So when it comes to niche applications, you might want to go with Gemini if it does all the things they say it does. So if you are a developer, your choice between Gemini and GPT-4 would really depend on the specific project requirements. When considering Gemini with ChatGPT, experts often consider parameters, which are simply variables with values that are adjusted during the training stage, as well as what the AI uses to transform input data into output. So, what this often means is that the more parameters an AI has, the more sophisticated it is. GPT-4 is reported to have 1.75 trillion parameters, while Gemini reportedly exceeds this number with more than 30 trillion and, according to some sources, 65 trillion parameters. Well, AI models are not just about parameters, so let's skip that and talk about another limitation. GPT-4 isn't quite there in terms of mimicking the actions of the human brain. As humans, we can understand various data formats like text, words, sounds, and visuals, all at the same time. That's literally how we can make sense of things around us, and that is what Google's Gemini is all about. It is just one model, but it has many AIs combined, and at the moment, GPT-4 isn't quite there yet. But not all that glitters is gold, because Google's demonstration actually had a problem. Google's demo debacle. In the space of a little over 24 hours after its introduction, all the initial enthusiasm over Gemini AI's launch subsided due to controversies over the staging of its Gemini hands-on video. Shortly after, Google was forced to admit that the hands-on video it shared at the platform's launch was not entirely real, but a representation of what Gemini could look like, rather than the kind of a real-time demo that most of us thought we were watching. Gemini doesn't quite function as portrayed because frames were extracted and prompts entered off camera, and not live as they suggested. What went on behind the scenes was a series of more incremental prompts, finely tuned to get the intended result. Bloomberg's Palmy Olson reported this discrepancy and noted Google's YouTube notes on the video as revealing that, for the purposes of this demo, latency has been reduced and Gemini outputs have been shortened for brevity. So what does this mean to us? Was this just a PR miscommunication, or is Gemini still behind ChatGPT? Well, apparently Gemini might not be as impressive as it sounds, but it doesn't mean that it still isn't a major step forward. Here's what the future might look like. We could be looking forward to a couple of outcomes in the near future, some of which are job automation fears and a reduction in organic traffic. A recent study conducted on 23 websites estimates that Google's changes may decrease organic traffic by up to 64%. Most websites and business owners in digital marketing already had enough trouble with Google's ever-changing SEO policies, which literally happens like 500 times a year. But what's going to change this time? The answer lies in the fact that Google's experimental and highly anticipated search generative experience is currently in development together with Gemini. Google's SGE aims at answering queries directly on the search results page, rather than redirecting you to websites. This will definitely make searches more natural and efficient, and could potentially revolutionize how we find information online, since it's tailoring its responses to our specific needs, as we can see here. With this development, a potential searcher's journey of 8 website visits before purchase might be cut down to just 1 or 2, with the rest of the research done entirely on the search results page. With this development, companies will be looking to adjust to this change by optimizing their websites for SGE rankings, focusing more on commercial intent pages, and looking to leverage profitable ad campaigns. So on a second look, this isn't really a negative after all. If successful, we can almost guarantee that we'll be seeing increased investment in AI research and development, leading to the creation of more advanced AI models. There will be lots of AI battles among the big players in 2024, but who do you reckon comes out on top? Also, it is worth mentioning that we can only hope for safety and ethical considerations in the usage of AI models to ensure our continued privacy and security. If Gemini lives up to the hype, then 2024 is going to be an exciting year for us with AI. Whether Gemini really is the new leader might remain a debate, but we can already look forward to a number of exciting possibilities along the way. One thing is for sure though, despite the criticisms Google has faced for the way it promoted Gemini, Google is likely to get some good results with Gemini Ultra once it is released. Also, by making its models open source, developers will be able to put some of its applications to good use with their own products as an alternative to GPT-4. But what are your thoughts? Do you see Gemini living up to the hype, or are we getting ahead of ourselves here? Well, one way to stay up to date with all the changes in the AI space is by hitting that subscribe button. Meanwhile, here's the shocking truth about Elon Musk and why he left OpenAI for xAI.